So, good evening, everyone. My name is Mariana Curran, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to do an overview of how to handle your photos and give you a solution that I have found that's been very beneficial to many people that I work with. So, I'm a photo preservation specialist. I've been in the photo industry for over 20 years, and I am a senior executive ambassador with Forever, a solution that I hope you will find to be helpful to you. So everyone has photos that document their life, and that's exactly what photos do. They're snapshots of our life. They're moments in time that we want to freeze, things that we never want to forget. When we take out that camera, that means I love you. And we do this because we want to remember these special moments. These are photos that that mean a lot to me. In the top left-hand corner is my dad and I on my wedding day, and my son is in the top right and the bottom left, from the little boy to the big boy, and he's with my darling Pooch beside him, who is sitting right here now, and we're going to hope he doesn't hear any howls outside that he decides to accompany. My husband and I are in the center there. That's the only time I ever saw him with hair. And my daughter is in the bottom right. That was her first year of life, where she spent the world looking at it upside down, because I guess she thought that's the way it was supposed to be. And now she's a grown woman, and here she is in Switzerland. You can see her there. The other things that we document and keep track of are memorabilia, such as our grandmother's molasses sugar cookies recipe with her handwriting that you want to keep, and your marriage license and birth certificates, and the list goes on. But we're people with stories, and we want to document those stories and keep them passed down from generation to generation, and we struggle with how to do that. So that's why we're here tonight. So if I asked you a question, and a couple of things here, if your name isn't showing up as an attendee, if you would hover, it looks like I see everyone's name, so it looks like we're good. If you at some point could put your email address down below, if you're not an ambassador, or so we know how to send you a gift that I'm going to give you at the end of this webinar, and we'll be drawing for a gift certificate at the end also, based on the number of times you answer questions that I pose. So my first question is, imagine your favorite photo, and I want to know, do you think you could find it for me inside of 3 minutes? So that's just a little thing that I'm interested in knowing. So that leads me to ask, where are your family memories? And I know you've got photos and possibly slides and negatives, old VHS tapes. Do you have any of those sitting in the closet or in a box, and one of these days you're going to do something with them? Do you have old photo albums? Where are they located? Are they living where you live, or are they hiding out in a box somewhere? And it's okay where they are, because believe me, you're not going to shock me. I've heard it all. And then came along the early 2000s, and digital photography came into existence. And then it's become a whole lot harder, because we can't really see and feel those images. They're often locked up on hard drives and on DVDs and floppy disks and computers and camera cards and in our cameras. So they're in so many different places. It's no wonder that we start to get confused and we don't know what to do with all of the images that we have. And unfortunately, everyday memories are lost, not because, it's not intentional. Bad things happen to good people. And recently we've seen this in our country, the fires and floods. And, being in this photo industry, I've seen photos of people who are searching through mildewed photos and trying to, salvage what they can. It's heartbreaking. And the people that had floods or had fires where their computers literally melted. So if their photos were on their computers, they vanished. They were gone inside of inside of hours. Things happen where we downsize and we lose track of things. We lose our photos. We lose our phones. I had a customer that lost her phone in a taxi cab. That she had all of her images from a once in a lifetime trip to Hawaii. So she has no images from that very special time that she spent with her husband. We have computer crashes and we don't get a warning. External hard drives just decide not to wake up one day. We've used that cloud services that go out of business. We had MySpace that was years ago that people used and it went out of business. So we have to be very careful where we're putting all of our pictures. So my question is, do you know of anyone that's had a photo disaster? Have you been subject to a photo disaster? So chat right on the side there or under the chat box on the right, so you can answer that question. So as I said, digital images often pose the biggest problems for us because a lot of times we don't understand it and we don't know how to handle just the sheer volume of them because we take so many more digital images than we did traditional film. So we have to learn the different ways to go about handling things. DVDs, obviously, they get all scratched up. They do not last. Phones break, external drives die, cords fray, all kinds of things happen. So one thing is, are you backing up your computer? And so that's just a basic thing that many people don't even think to do, that if the computer goes, you may have an external hard drive that has things on it. But unfortunately, they all crash, as do the hard drives. And as you see here, a hard drive has a 2 to 7 year shelf life. My last external hard drive lasted 11 months and dead as a door now. Nothing's bringing it back. So thankfully I did have that backed up, but disaster does happen. And when we pass away, what is the plan? Have you instructed your children as to where your photos are? Will you instruct your children? Will they pay attention? So these are all the things that we need to think about with our pictures. Before, it almost was easier when we had just a bunch of boxes, but now that they're on the computers and no one knows your password to your computer, they may no longer see their photos again. It's a pretty frightening thought for me. So what is the answer, though? And what the answer is cloud storage. And people sometimes shudder at that because they don't even understand what cloud storage is. But let me put your fears to rest. Cloud storage is a giant building with a bunch of computers that are redundantly backed up into other buildings. So it's safer than your home, where you only may have one backup. There are multiple backups when you use cloud storage. But then you have to decide, well, what kind of cloud storage site am I going to use? Because they have different storage companies have different models. So we're going to talk about some of these different models that are out there, and so you understand exactly what you're getting into when you check that little box that said, I have read all of the terms and conditions. So let's find out a little bit about those. So the ones that have the arrow beside it, I'm going to talk about those right now. We'll go to the other ones later. So Facebook is great for what it does. It keeps us in touch with the world and each other, and it makes us feel good to post photos and our friends liking them and commenting. It keeps us connected to each other. What it doesn't do is keep our photos at a high resolution, nor does it promise to keep our photos there. So it's just not a safe place or a smart place to have your photos stored. If you send your photos to Facebook and then you want to print them from there because you have no other copies, you're not going to be able to print a good resolution photo. They'll be blurry and they'll have to be very small. If you use Dropbox, that's really great for storing documents and files. You can either have a free account or a paid account. So once you stop paying, they're going to close your account. That happens sometimes by mistake. Your credit card expiration date ends, and you didn't catch the email that said that you had to, fix your credit card, and before you know it, your account is gone. Or if you look in Dropbox in terms of service, they say that after a reasonable period of time, they will close your account if you have a free account. So, what is a reasonable period of time for you to lose your photos? I'm guessing you're thinking there really isn't one, but Dropbox does say it's about a year. They don't actually say it, but I know that it's about a year that they will close your account. And some people use Shutterfly for printing purposes, and that's the only thing that they really do the right way, even though I would even beg to differ there. But they hold your photos hostage in that you can't get them back except for one photo at a time. And that can be very heartbreaking if you've got a lot of photos to download back out of Shutterfly. And they do reduce the images. They compress. So you get what you pay for. When you pay for nothing, don't expect that you're going to be getting the best service and the best possibilities for your photos. So right here, the terms of service for Apple iCloud, I have this here because I know most of us are using that if we've got an Apple phone. And I'm highlighting some of the words that should frighten you with what Apple says, because they say under certain circumstances and without notice that they might terminate or suspend your account. And they owe you nothing. So you've agreed to this. At the very end, you say, I agree. You also agree, and they say it right there, that your account is not transferable, that you cannot give the content to your account to anyone else. You die, your account is closed. And the biggest joke of all is that we think when we use the iCloud that that's the backup for our photos. But in reality, if you look at this last paragraph, iCloud, Apple says you're responsible for backing up to your own computer or device, and that they are not guaranteeing that your content will be safe and that it may get damaged, corrupted, and lost. And they take no responsibility for that whatsoever. So it is not the place where you want to ultimately have your photos safe and secure. And as I say, and sometimes people laugh at me, I say, I don't know if I'm going to step in front of a bus tomorrow. So, even using them temporarily, you take your chances. You decide how risk adverse you are. So Google Drive is wonderful for the things that it's good at, sending messages by Gmail back and forth, for quick, sharing of things with friends and family. But what Google's in the business of is taking your data and selling to you. And they sell your data to third parties. And they make no bones about it. They tell you straight up, when you upload, submit, or store anything that you send them, they take on the license. They have a worldwide license, and anyone they work with has that license to use your images, your content. They can publish it, display it, distribute it. So you have lost all rights to your content that you put up in Google Drive. And I find that pretty frightening. I have a friend that saw her photo in her chiropractor's office down in Florida. She walked in and there was her photo, she and her husband walking down the beach. And she, of course, said, how did you get my picture? And he said, I bought it. So he bought it online. So someone had stolen her photo and sold it. And Instagram has the exact same terms of service that you see here. And, a lot of our kids are, put their things up on Instagram. Well, they no longer own it. And then even if you close down your account, Google keeps possession. They don't even really delete it. They're holding on to your stuff. They want to be able to sell to you, and they're checking you out. So you want to think twice about using them for long-term storage of your photos. So you might start thinking, well, geez, where can I put my stuff? Well, I was on this same journey 2 years ago and trying to figure out where I was going to put my photos, because I had well over, 50, 60,000 photos, and I was getting very concerned. I had lost several hard drives, and for different reasons, I just felt that the cloud was the best place to put them. And lo and behold, I found Forever, and really loved what I heard. I heard the CEO and founder of the company talk about Forever, and I knew how much he had vested in this company. And he had sold the first 1,000 accounts himself personally. And then I decided I wanted to join up with this company and also sell storage with it. So I'm being transparent and letting you know that I really believe strongly in Forever. I've been using it myself. And there are tens of thousands of account holders now. So we are worldwide in all 50 states and around the world. We are the only company in the world that does exactly what we do. So with Forever, you retain the ownership of your property and the rights. We do not take on possession of anything. Everything is totally private. We don't share it. You own it. And our guarantee is that we will keep all of your photos and documents for your lifetime plus 100 years. That's a pretty amazing thing to say, and you might wonder, well, how do they do that? And the way it's done is that the money that you invest in your Forever account, so you own this account. This account is it grows in monetarily, and it's restricted. We can't touch that money except for a small percentage every year to pay for the upkeep on the account, the actual payment for the storage. It pays for us migrating your data to new file formats. So JPEGs are the way that we save our photos right now. And JPEGs have been around for about 35 years, but they are already in the process of having one foot out the door, and a new file format will come. Well, can you imagine what it will cost for you to change all of your photos into some new file format? You may have already experienced having to pay for slides to be transferred into a digital format, or even your paper photos and your VHS tapes. All of that costs a fair amount of money, and we take on that burden with your fund, that we digitally migrate everything for you automatically. We store everything in full resolution. We do not compress any of your photos, your data. Everything stays exactly as you sent it up to Forever. So Forever's guaranteed fund is set up like an endowment like fund, such as Harvard or Oxford, which have been in existence for Oxford has been in 850 years, their endowment fund, and Harvard's is over 350 years old. And like MetLife, if you take a business model, they've been in existence for about 185 years. And the money that's placed in there just continues to grow. So that pot of money gets larger, and it's able to pay for these guarantees and for the storage that you are owning. So my question I posed to you is, would you rather own, or would you rather rent? So if you answer that question on the right-hand side, you'll be entered in for a drawing at the end of the night. Another thing that we deal with is taking photos with our phones, and we've got an app for that, and your phone photos are automatically connected to your Forever account. So when you're connected, if you connect on Wi-Fi, you can pay for data and send your photos, but whenever you're on Wi-Fi, your phone and photos automatically go up to your account, and that's pretty great. So I'm going to show you a little demo of what my account looks like. Let's see if I can get there easily. Yeah, okay, my account left. Where did it go? All right, let me just go find my account. Sorry about that. So here we are in my library, and you get there simply by going forever.com. And the library holds all of your photos, whether they're organized into albums or not. And you can look at your albums by the date taken, or by the upload date, in whichever order you prefer. You can also filter by the year, and you can filter by the month. So I can drill down to see exactly what I'm looking for. So here is 2014, and Looks like I've got a variety of photos from Europe. Um, my daughter took away a lot of photos. Some of these have to get weeded out, obviously. So from the library, you can go into albums and you can create albums the way you see fit. So many people put their albums in by year, their photos up by year, and then they can actually nest albums. They put albums inside of albums. So if you see here 2016, there are 3 separate albums that are sitting inside of 2016. The one thing I want to say to you is that it took you a lifetime to create these photos, to make take all these photos. So it's not going to get all organized in in a short period of time. So you've got to work at it diligently, and we recommend that you spend maybe 15 minutes every other day on your account, and don't go beyond 30 minutes so that you're not hesitant about coming in there and working in your account. And little by little, you do get it organized. So here is a wedding album of my parents' photos. And you see I have a description here. So you can write whatever you want. There's no character limit. You can write as much as you want. And I can share this album by clicking share up here. Gives me a link that I can post or send to someone.
Looks like it
gives them the capability. I'm going to mute there. Got some people talking. Hold on a sec. Okay. And you can download this album also, and then I can move it around to where I want in my library. So there are a lot of capabilities. If I click on a particular photo, I have the same capabilities. I can edit the photo, share the photo, give it to someone else. I can download it, play a slideshow, and over on the right-hand side, I can give a description. I can do tagging, gives me the metadata, it's called, about the particular photo. Other things that you can do in your account, you can tag. So you can have different kinds of albums and then have tagging where someone might show up in different albums. So you can see different names of people are in here. I'll admit I'm not the most organized person in the world, and I find if I've got chronology, I'm way ahead. Just having chronology helps me quite a bit. My friends and family are people that I'm sharing with. So you'll see that I'm the account manager, and some people are my account manager. So I'm the account manager of my parents' account, and my daughter is the account manager of my account. So when I pass, she'll be able to get in here and make any changes that she deems necessary, all except for deleting photos. And my parents are still living, but I do manage their account. So for instance, if I go into even my sister's account here, she's sharing with me, I can look at her albums and see if there's anything that I would like to bring into my album simply by clicking a photo, and I can copy this photo into my library right here by clicking copy to my library. So you can share with people that are not a permanent account members. You can have a intro account, but when they have their own account and they're uploading photos, it's easy to swap photos back and forth, which is great. In your account settings, you determine how you want your account to be passed on to future generations. You make that decision in advance of passing on. So this account really does live on beyond you. So let's jump back. So what are your challenges right now? And everyone has different challenges. Do you have a lot of photos on your cell phone? You always get that awful, you're out of space warning. Do you have a computer that is, full of files located all over the place, duplicated many times? Is that your issue? Or do you have a lot of printed photos and slides and VHS tapes, things that you've got to get digitized because you can't even enjoy them any longer, and they are deteriorating the longer that you wait. So what are the best practices for a family photo plan? So step one is you've got to get that old media and convert it to current digital formats. So, and why would we do that? Because first of all, we can't enjoy it any longer. They are deteriorating, and we do want to pass them on to future generations. So how do you go about doing that? Well, Forever was smart about this, and they realized this same need, and they purchased a conversion services company several years ago, and we do all our own conversion in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And you can actually call them on the phone and have a conversation. I don't know if you're aware, but India does an awful lot of conversion for the United States, in that people give their video to, Joe's video down the block, and he sends it off to India. Well, that's certainly going far out of your hands and across the ocean, and you don't know what can happen. And with Forever, we keep very close tabs on all your media. You're informed on the process all along the way. I've myself digitized 55 VHS tapes, 21 photo albums, lots of slides. I've used them, as have many of my customers, and everyone has been extremely happy with their results. We do some fixing of the films. When you send VHS, we fix the audio, we drop out blank spots, a few other things that we do to make your videos just a little bit better. What's great about this month is that we've got a sale on conversion. It's 15% off on the boxes. So you purchase a box based on size and based on what you think you need. And you're best to discuss this with your ambassador so she can explain it to you fully and give you an idea of what box might best suit your purposes. But you can see this box is 14 by 14 by 12, pretty big box, and it's worth $300 in services. So you're paying very little for shipping. I've shipped out 40-pound boxes weighing 40 pounds. So well over what it would normally cost to ship that kind of weight. So check in with your ambassador on how to go about ordering these boxes. So step 2 in a photo plan would be to handle your digital photos and get them all into one home, and not have them on all these different devices that are all subject to, natural disaster and man-made disaster, and uploading all of your mobile devices, getting everything in one place, and then starting to tell the stories behind the photos. Because if we don't know who's in the pictures, they start to become meaningless. And so here again, Forever can be a really great solution for this, because it's going into one place. And you can access your account from any mobile device, from your phone, from your iPad. You can pull up your photos on your fingertips. My daughter a couple weeks ago asked me to send her a picture of her dressed up as Pippi Longstocking. So out of those 60, 70,000 photos I have, I said, could you give me a hint when that year that might be? And she said, well, I think maybe 2003. And sure enough, I went right to 2003 in my Forever account, and I had that photo in her hands within 2 minutes. And she was very happy. So was I, that I could pull it up that quickly. So Forever, as I said, is permanent, secure, it's private. You determine who you're sharing it with, and it's mobile on your mobile devices. So I know you're wondering, what does this all cost? And it is really great. We've got a 30% sale going on right now, and we don't see that kind of sale but once a year because of Black Friday. And you purchase based on the size of the account that you believe you need, and knowing that you can upgrade at any time. So 10 gig is a what some people come in at, and some come in at 50 and 100. It just depends on how many photos that they have and what they believe their needs are, and what the costs are. So when I say here 2,500 to 5,000 photos, it really does depend on how you're taking your photos. Are they from your laptop, or are they on your cell phone? Not your laptop, on your digital camera, which might be 25 megapixel, and that might be then only 1,500 photos. It really does depend on the size of your images. And the payment can be done 2 ways. So $19 a month is for 1 year only, or $39 for 1 year only. That's it. You never pay again. You own it at that point. Or you can do a one-time payment in November. $139. That is truly an amazing price. $279 for 25 gig. These are really great prices. You're paying for your lifetime plus 100 years with the goal of many hundreds of years. This money will grow over time and allow us to keep your account going down through the ages. So it's money well spent. Think about if you purchase external hard drives. One external hard drive costs $99 and it dies in 2 years. I probably have about 6 or 7 of them over here that have died along the way. So talk to your ambassador about getting involved with Forever if you can. So the third step is, what do you do with your images once you have them up in an account? And you can get an introductory account, 2 gigabyte, to test it out, give it a drive-by, and you can even create photo books with that introductory account. And the purpose of our photos is to enjoy them and live, bring them back into our life. And if they're locked up on hard drives and not able to enjoy them, then what was the purpose behind them? So bring them back into your life, and Forever has a number of different ways that you can enjoy them on canvases and books, and you can see puzzles here and mugs. So there are a variety of ways that you can print your images and enjoy them, and as one of my friends say, to make her walls smile. So if I asked you a question, if you could create a photo book tomorrow, what would that book be? What is pressing for you? What story would you like to share? Is there a gift that you would love to give this Christmas? Forever Print, that just started a week ago, or maybe even a week ago, the 1st of November, is a very fast online platform for creating photo books. And if you stay past our 45 minutes here, I'll show you how that works. But you can create a book inside of an hour, and they're beautiful. They're pre-designed templates, and they're really beautiful. So Forever can be your solution for your photos all the way around, from having media conversion to permanent storage, and to creating photos and gifts. And think about Forever as a gift for the holidays. I mean, what a wonderful gift to give conversion as a gift to a parent, or a permanent account. I had someone who purchased an account for her sister. So think about the kinds of gifts that really are meaningful. A Christmas tie or a Forever account. I think I know the answer, what I would like to have. So I would like to thank everyone for coming, and I want to see whether or not you have any questions, anything I can answer right now. And I know it's a quick overview, but if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in and tell me. And let me unmute. I don't know how loud it'll be. I can try to unmute and see whether or not it's noisy, and I'll have to remute if it is. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, everyone's unmuted. Anyone have a question? I did that good of a job. Uh-oh, my dog's growling. No questions. Everyone's happy. Everyone's tired. Well, I appreciate everyone's coming. We can still hang here for a few minutes. Yes.
Anne Marie's saying more about digital conversion. So can you talk a little more about that?
Sure. The digital. Let me jump over to the digital conversion, the website. I can attempt to get here. If you go to forever.com, and you want to make sure you're linked to the ambassador that brought you here. And so I'm in the forever.com site, and I go to media conversion services. And we also have a YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you search forever.com, you'll find lots of information on Forever. So there are playlists here. And if you look at the media conversion services, they tell you all about it also in there. But let me jump back. I'm glad I went out of there. Let me go back. So the conversion services, you can send just about anything you can think of to be converted. Photos, slides, negatives, videos. I've sent 8mm film, reel to reel, and discovered my parents' wedding and videos of me as a baby, 1, 2, and 3 years old. I was really blown away to see myself moving on film. That is, I cannot tell you what that is like if you've never experienced it. So we're able to convert just about anything. Is there anything specific you were looking for, Anne Marie, on information? So the box has a value. So and this is not showing you the sale price. But the value of this box is $50. The value of this box is $100. The value of this box is $300. So you can put any mix or match in that box up to the value of the box. If you put more than the value of the box, you will pay for the additional amount. However, you will not pay for additional shipping. So the best value is in the deluxe box because you can really stuff it full and it really not pay and then not pay extra for shipping and get the best bargain of all with that. Did I answer your question? Do you have anything in particular about it, Anne Marie? Anyone else have any other questions they wanted me to cover? Anyone else see any questions there? We got a lot of people chatting.
Oh. Sandy says she'd be vocal, but she has a sinus infection. Let's see. I know this isn't a photo format, but do you know if they can convert audio cassette tapes?
Yes, they can. And what happens with your video and your audio, Forever does not at this point show it on your account, but it will be coming in 2018. And in the meantime, Forever is storing those converted pieces for you in their servers, but they are also sending you back jump drives and the originals, but they're storing it. So when video and audio are available, they will place them in your accounts if you've got the space for it. They will ask you, when the time comes, how they'll go about doing that. Any other comments or questions? A lot of comments here. Okay. Okay. I'm not seeing anything else right now. So I'm going to turn off the recording and then we're going to do some drawings. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks again.